And we got a chance to talk to Jameson Williams last week.
Yep.
About various subjects, but we asked him about social media and specifically the impact that it can have. He, sure you're aware, he liked to post about the Lions possibly trading for Lamar Jackson. He didn't seem to, I guess, grasp the impact that social media can have. What's your concern with his level of awareness for social media and his maturity level overall?
Yeah, look, I think, first of all, those guys are under, I think, more, certainly than when I played, but under more stress than at any time in the history of professional sports. I think all sports, and because you're truly under a microscope. You have a direct connection and link to the fans, the media, everything, which you open yourself up to. I mean, but I think that's very much in today's world that we live in, and you just got to understand that. Now, as far as, but I do believe it was harmless. I don't, and honestly, when I saw it, I didn't think it was that big of a deal. Golf knows where he stands. The team knows. So I don't think it's a big deal. I think he was just more than anything. He's like, hey, I like Lamar. More than, hey, yeah, I got to have him. I don't like, he never said that. It's a little bit like what the catch thing. Would you like more targets? Somebody said, hey, you need to get him the ball more. He said, I liked it. What does that mean? He's not bitching about getting more balls. It's just, yeah, okay, cool. I like that comment. So I just don't think it's a huge deal. Now, as far as the other, look, he's a work in progress. He's got room to grow and develop. To continue to mature as a player, a person in this league, and I do see growth. I see growth, and that's what all you can ask for.
With all due respect, if he liked to post suggesting the Lions should trade for Sean McVay as the head coach of the Lions,
I'd be fine. I mean, it's fine, Now, I would probably go talk to him directly and be like, do you have a problem with me? Is that why you said it? He'd be like, no, coach, I like Sean McVay. I'd be like, okay, I got it. Sean's won a freaking Super Bowl. I got it.
And one thing, just the last follow-up on that, is he said his relationship with Goff is perfect. Do you have a read on that relationship?
Yeah, I think they have a good relationship. I do. I don't feel like there's anything toxic or there's any ulterior motive. I think it's I don't see an issue. I think all of this it's growth and development and baby steps. Here we go, man.
There was a report last week that there was another Lions player that was being investigated for me, and I guess I wanted to get your comment on that. And then beyond that, can you explain the steps you guys have taken to educate players since they've come back? In the last week, you said you've hit it a couple times. So specifically, what have you guys done to?
We just make a point of emphasis over and over. Just continue to state it. They know it. We don't know all the details. That's in the league's hand. But my understanding is this is very much, they call it Wave 2, but it could be Wave 1A or 1B, I should say. So I think this is very much in the same timeline. But look, we've made a point of it, and that's all we can do. And it's out of our hands.
The players make from year one to year two. It seems like it's a real thing. When you talk about a guy like Kirby, we've seen the ball production with him as a rookie. What's the next step for him? Where would you guys like to see him take his game to?
Yeah, I think the consistency overall, which comes with being a young player. Like we see the plays he's capable of, and now it's just being consistent, man, over and over. Here's the thing that a little bit with Kirby, because man, he's instinctive. He's a good athlete. He's rangy. There's times where he could veer off a little bit and maybe go out of the wheelhouse of what we want just a little bit. And but that's all part of being a young player that has some ability and is learning to grow. And so just the consistency, man. Just do your job. Be conscious of your landmarks. Understand what's going on beneath you. But man, there's a ton of growth still with this player. That's what is exciting. And he's very conscientious. He works at it. He is instinctive. And that's, man, that fires you up for a young player. I mean, that's what you want. Guys that have shown the potential, but yet they continue to grow and have a lot of room to grow.
Just one follow-up. You did it in a different way this year than you did last year because obviously you guys got a handful of players disciplined. It sounds like that investigation could be in a couple other teams.
I'm sorry. I was reload. Give it to me again.
You know,
I thought you were following up on what he just
No,
said. You're going back to the gambling. Go ahead.
I just want to know how, in what ways are you hitting it different than you did before to make sure the emphasis sticks, I guess?
Well, I think we're for us, it's much more an emphasis from us as opposed to just leaving it to the league. You know, like we need to make sure that we really hit this ourselves and make a point of it. And, you know, we did, but obviously not enough. I mean, the proof's in the pudding. So, so for us, man, let's take it out of their hands. They'll have what they do every year, but now we need to put our own emphasis on it. And I think that's the best way to do it is to highlight it, you know. And that's what we're trying to do.
Last week, Montgomery and Melvin weren't able to finish the practice. Any update on those two guys?
Yeah, neither one of them are going to practice today, but it's nothing serious. So I got a feeling somebody else may tweak something out there today, and you know, so and we do have a number of guys that we're going to sit just to be smart with today. So I know you guys are going to want to know. We're going to probably have 10, 12 guys out, and it's just, man, preventative. Let's just be smart. There again, it's not about the physical right now. It's more about the mental and making sure that we can get guys healthy and ready for camp, you know, training camp in July.
Dan, you talked about how J-Mo's so much more ahead of where he was last year because of the injury. How about James Mitchell? Same situation. How much more ahead is he than last year?
Yeah, I very much in the same boat. But I would say this: Mitchell got a lot more play time, you know, which has really helped his growth. But look, I can't say enough good things about Mitchell. You know, he's a quiet guy, goes about his business. He's very smart and instinctive, and you know, I think Steve Hyden's going to be really good for him too. You know, our new tight end coach that we got, and I can already see growth and development out of him. You know, and that's going without pads. But I think just part of the emphasis for him is will really be in the run game, the blocking. You know, he was a receiver at college before he was a tight end, so he's kind of got a feel and knack for some of those things. But it was the run game, because we think there's a lot of potential. We think he can be an all-around type tight end for us, more of a athletic Y tight end. And man, he puts everything into it, you know. And there again, you want guys. You got to want to do it. You got to be eager. You got to want to learn. And he's got all that. So that would lead you to believe that he'll continue to develop.
Hey, Dan, last year we saw Levi. He didn't have helmet on, but he was in his gear or whatever. Is he ahead of schedule, behind schedule, or are you bringing him along slow?
I would say he's probably about right on schedule for what we thought. You know, he just got on the grass really about a week ago to where he can begin to run. And so then really it's, okay, you know, how fast can, now that he's moving, he's out there on the grass, he's able to run, he's off the Alter G, you know, how fast can his body come back? So, you know, we don't entirely have that answer. You know, certainly we're hoping that we get him in camp at some point, but I can't give you a timeline of that right now.
Khalif Raymond's been about as steady as they come in the 2 years he's been. What sort of value will he bring you, especially with Jamison out at the start of the season?
Yeah, Leif's our Iron Man, you know, particularly in that room. I mean, he's a guy who's been there for us, and when we've needed him, man, he's always shown up. And look, and I mean, Leif and I talked about this last year. You know, part of the plan was he was going to be a specialized player for us. You know, he's going to get, you know, 15 reps a game. He's our starting punt returner. And it was, man, we're going to utilize him, keep him fresh, but be able to use his explosiveness, because he is explosive. Well, shoot, man, the injuries we had, you know, he got thrust back into really a starting role for us. And he can play all the positions. He can play the X, he can play the slide, he can play the Z. He's smart, he's tough, he's headsy, he's a go-getter, he's resilient. So he's a huge asset for us. Thank God we got him. So he'll be big for us while J-Mo's out.
So good that for most of last year, it's so dangerous. Having that year of experience now, and I assume that's maybe a little bit further along in terms of inputting things. What's sort of the next step? How good, how much better do you think this offense can be?
Well, I think I think a lot of what we're into now is, man, just, here's what happens. You implement your system, which is what we did last year. We kind of revamped what we had, and Ben laid it out. And so what happens is, man, you do some good things. And then the next year it's, all right, how much do you just let's get really, really good at this versus here's a couple of new ideas. Here's a couple of new, and you're always going to want a few new ideas, but how much of it versus just let's go back to the basics of what we did last year and let's do them better. Let's just fundamentally get a little bit better, a little sharper with it. And so that's the tug of war we play right now. And so, man, I'd like to believe that, certainly we want more. I mean, that's what this game is. We did some good things offensively, but we want more out of it. And I think that's what we're into now and what camp will certainly be.
Overall, what is your satisfaction with the wide receivers room, and are you intrigued by the potential of DeAndre Hopkins since he is available?
Yeah, I'm not going to comment on that one, but I like our receiver room. I think we got a good mix of different types of guys. I think it's important really in your skill position between tight ends, backs, and receivers that you have a mix of different types of skill sets, and I feel like we have that. We got possession, explosive. We got speed. We got consistency. We've quickness. So I just think we have a lot of guys that can do a lot of different things. And so the more versatility you have, that opens up your packages personnel wise and matchup wise.
Thank you.